be strong in this time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive. I will survive. And I'm a firm believer. We'll forever shine just to stay alive. That simple means it. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can hold me sick. I will let alone negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness. Show me a lion come. Strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Strength. No weakness. Show me a lion come. Everybody strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Not when you're old. Your enemies, they must tremble. Your enemies, they must tremble. Yo, not when you're old. Everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. I'ma go get God, I just God. And I'm a kind of fella. Put my trust in God. Put my
This is Ridealong Live, where everyone has a story to tell.
Yeah. You gotta be firm in this time, son. You gotta be strong in this time, son.
Hey, Ride Along, welcome to the ride, welcome to the ride, welcome to Monday on the ride. How you guys doing? How is everything? How is your Monday? How is your Monday? Everybody come in and share the thing, share the program, share the thing, start a watch party. Let me do it over on my side as well. You know, it's a beautiful Monday, right? So, hold on, before I say anything, there are some people that would absolutely be mad at me if I did not tag them. So I have to do that, right? I have to tag them. Deanne Fraser, how you doing? Big up yourself. Big up yourself, Deanne Fraser. How you doing? I think I saw... Hey, Rena! How you doing, my dear? Yeah. Rena, big up yourself. Thank you so much. All the way in England. Thank you for joining us. Lydia James. Oh, how I love my Lydia James. Lydia, thanks for earlier. You know, Lydia gave me some very, very good advice. I appreciate that. Lydia James. And Lydia, you could listen. Whenever you see situations like this, feel free. I'm very, very open to learning new things. All right, so I appreciate that, Lydia James. Hosting Jay, big up yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hosting Jay. Johnny English. Thank you so much, Johnny English. We appreciate you. How are you doing, Hazel Blackett? Big up yourself, Hazel Blackett. Guys, this is what I want everybody to do. I want everybody to go right ahead right now and hit that share button. All right? I want everybody to hit that share button and share it. Put it on your page. Put it on a friend page. Put it in a group. If you guys involved in a group that we don't have or we're not associated with, you still could bring in those people on those groups. So I want you guys to tag a group, tag a friend, because today we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic. A topic that we really haven't touched on and Ride Along enough. And I think today is going to really open the eye of a lot of people, make people see things a little bit differently. Because, you know, for the whole month of October, right, we've been celebrating well, not celebrating, we've been building awareness for domestic violence and breast cancer. Those two things. We've been doing it simultaneously. You know, you could chew gum and walk at the same time. So we've been doing that for the past month, for within the month. Um, Shanti, how you doing? Big up yourself, my good friend. Tag a friend, guys. Yeah, so we've been doing that for the whole entire month. And we've brought on a number of ladies who who spoke about their experiences in domestic violence. And we feel it, we feel the pain, and we understand what they went through. Not only in that scenario, but to build the strength to come on a platform like this and talk about it. We saw the tears, we saw the agony, we saw it all right here on the program. But today, it's a little bit different. We're not going to take it from a male perspective. And when we put that program out there and we say we have a young man who is going to come and share his story about domestic abuse, people say, what? A man about domestic abuse? What is it you're talking about? Men don't go through domestic abuse. Sad to say, guys, that it is underreported. And I'm very happy today that my friend, Eric, is going to be possibly the first person to break the ice on this topic here on Ride Along. And guys, a nice ride along. Welcome to Eric, my friend. How you doing, Eric?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you?
I am good. I am doing well. I like to say welcome to the program to share your story and breaking the ice here on the program because it's just a story we've been hearing one side and we haven't been hearing the other side. We've been pleading and begging to have a male perspective on this topic for a very long time. So I'd like to thank you for coming on to sharing your story of domestic violence here on the program. Eric?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
No problem, no problem. And thanks to our producer, Lois JJ, for making that connection and ensuring that we have this program here today. Deanna Winter Funday, good evening to you and everyone that's watching. Eric, before we go on and learn more about your story, I want you to just tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all.
Well, my name is Eric Vassar. For those of you who don't know, I'm 26 years old. I was raised in a small town called Mounds, Illinois. It's about 10 hours away from where I'm from right now. I'm in the military. I'm in the U.S. Army. Been in for about 5 years. I celebrated my 5-year anniversary on the 6th of this month, so I was pretty excited about that. Got 3 kids, got 3 babies. Got 2 sons and a daughter. I've also been pursuing my music career. Been doing shows. Went out to Charlotte last week. Did a show out there for some real big people out of Virginia, and a couple people from the Charlotte area, a couple studios and stuff like that. So I'm a pretty busy person whenever I'm not at work. I'm a human resource specialist, so I'm basically a paper pusher for the U.S. military. I like to fish. I play video games, and I'm just trying to survive every day for my kids and for myself and for my family. So that's pretty much all it is about me. I'm a pretty simple guy.
Yeah. Pretty simple guy and regular guy. You seem to have your stuff together. You speak very well. You serve in the military. Thanks for your service, as Deanna Winter Funday said there. I think a son or a family member of hers is also in the military. So thanks for your service.
Appreciate everybody. Appreciate
Yeah.
everybody's support.
So we'll go straight into it, Eric. We'll go straight into it. Um, Relationships.
hmm
What are you? What drew you?
Go ahead. I'm listening. Somebody
Yeah.
at the door.
What drew you to this particular relationship that we're going to be speaking on right now? As that was different, or were there anything different about that particular relationship than the other relationship that you've been through in your life?
So you're asking about my current relationship now?
No. The one that we're gonna speak about, because we're talking about domestic abuse.
Uh-huh.
I know it is such a dramatic experience, a dramatic story. So, uh, what made you get in? What was different about this person that you dated than the others that you dated before? Not the current one. I'm talking about this
Oh,
particular
so
person.
I mean, I was fresh out of high school. You know what I mean? I had just graduated high school. So I had been um I wouldn't say courting, but I had really just started dating really. And she was my second serious relationship. So the only thing that really stood out about her was the fact that through the hard times she supported me. She was there for me when I needed somebody the most. And another thing that really got to me was 2014 carrying on to 2015. I lost over the course of the year. In the beginning of 2015, I lost four close family members. I lost my grandma, my uncle, my other uncle, and my grandpa. So she was there through it all, and she was actually understanding of the whole entire situation, and she never ever left my side. Like it was one of those. If anybody was deserving of this spot, it was her.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout this whole entire process, she ended up getting pregnant. So that was another reason where it was just like, okay, I knew it wouldn't just happen to happen, but I mean, it happened. So working dead end jobs made me come to a point where I needed to change something, and I was never going to be able to support me, her, and a new baby off of what I was making. So that's what made me join the army, and we didn't get married right away. We just still were courting each other. We called each other, going with each other. I went off the basic in October, graduated in December, came home for Christmas um, for a short period, came back to South Carolina to go to AIT, and then from there, I went to Korea. But I went home for a couple weeks, and once I got out of AIT, that's when me and her got married. And my grandma used to always tell me that when you get married, that first year is always going to be the worst year of the worst year of your marriage. And if you can make it through the first year, everything else will fall into place. So made it through the first year. We had arguments here and there, but it wasn't never anything serious to the point where I would think that I would end up like I was the following year. So 2016, fast forward, went to Korea, came back, handled business for handled my mission and came back. Um, 2017 March, this when we moved up to South Carolina, and that's where we started our venture on our own. You know, that was a first for everything for me. It was my first time being on my own. Well, it's not my first time being on my own, but first time being on my own as a family.
Right.
It was her first time being away from her family. That's the first time she ever left her parents, and she's 10, 11 hours away. I was used to it by that time because, I've already been to South Carolina 2, 3 times. So I was used to being away from my family. It hurt, but, I had to grow and I had to go on because I know I had a family to take care of. So, um, just like any other family, we have our problems here and there, but it was never nothing too serious to where I would think that November would change my life forever. So, like I told Junior earlier,
Yeah.
in the military we have what they call staff duty, and staff duty is where you work 24 hours a day, the whole day. You're going the whole day, so you're not at home. You leave at 9 o'clock. You report at 9 o'clock. You stay there till 9 o'clock the next day. So, whenever I have staff duty, we always plan the day before I leave what we're gonna do the day after I get off. So we
Mhm.
already had plans to take my son out, do this, do that, and come back home and just have some time to ourselves once he went to sleep. And he was 2 at the time, so it really wasn't a lot for him to fall asleep. So we took him out, let him run at the park, run all his energy out, fed him, brought him home, showered. He was on the bed. So me and her ended up having a couple drinks and enjoying each other's company downstairs in the house. We really are still freshly moved in, so we haven't really even been there that long. November we got to South Carolina in April, so that's a couple months. And um
So okay, so we're talking about you guys moving in, but I just want to kind of get a idea of her character. Was she a? Did you find any traits in her while getting to know her that she might be an aggressive person, someone that is not rational? Did you get that at any point in time?
No, not at first. I mean, when it came to defending me, she was aggressive. When it came to, taking care of what she knew was hers, she was aggressive. Um, but as far as aggression towards me, that really didn't come until, I got back home in 2017. So I really didn't see no aggression. And, like I told you earlier, the first sign that I seen was her just, getting up close and yelling and screaming. But it wasn't anything as extreme as what happened to
Any
me.
triggers? Any little slight triggers before?
No,
No triggers.
none, none. So, I mean, like I say, every relationship has problems. Every
Right.
relationship has arguments. So, those came and went. We'll argue, go to sleep, wake up, talk about it the next morning. We'll never argue about it again. So
Right.
that's the type of family that we had. We had that
Regular stuff.
family where we had a bond, and we built off that bond. So you want me to keep going with
Yeah.
the story?
So
Yeah.
so we had identify that she was not someone that would be ignorant or very snappy, a pretty logical thinking person, someone that is not aggressive. So you guys build a relationship. There was no triggers. Okay, go right ahead. You guys moved in, and you guys there having fun. Take it.
Yeah, so we had a good night, couple drinks, but me, I'm not a heavy drinker. So whenever I get to my limit, it's like, oh, I'm done. So I ended up just telling her, hey, whenever you get ready to come upstairs, I'll be upstairs. And I went upstairs, and once I went upstairs, I was tired, but I still was like, I gotta stay up a couple more hours just to make sure that she still gets her time with me. So, she came up not too long after me. We were intimate for a while, and I eventually fell asleep, but she didn't want me to go to sleep because she still wanted to be intimate. So that's what made her mad. And when she got mad, she left out of the room. So I didn't pay no attention to it. So I went on to sleep. And once I went to sleep, like I told you, about 10, 15 seconds went by, and something was like, man, you need to get up. And I don't know where it came from. It just was like something said, get up. So I woke up, and when I woke up, she was standing at the end of the bed with a knife in her hand. So
Oh,
that's what,
what? What?
yeah.
So,
So,
so you guys was intimate for for a portion of it. You fell
yeah.
asleep.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
Then she got upset.
Yep. She got upset when she seen that me being tired was getting the best of me.
Did she try to
And
talk to you about it? Like, hey, what's up? I mean, come on.
no, she didn't talk. She asked one question. She was just like, so you're not gonna pleasure me like I pleasure you? And I was like, I'm trying to stay woke, but I just can't. And she said, okay. So that's before she went downstairs. And when she came back upstairs, she had a knife in her hand. So now I'm fully awake. Like now I can't go back to sleep. Now it's no going back to sleep. Now we got to figure out what's going on. So I'm trying to talk to her like, hey, put the knife down. We could talk about this. And, she just kept asking the same question over and over. So you're not going to pleasure me like I pleasure you. I'm like, the alcohol has got the best of you right now. Put the knife down before somebody get hurt. And
Was she drunk?
yeah, she was drunk. Yeah.
Oh, she was drunk.
Yeah,
So
she was drunk. So I mean, I was a little intoxicated too, but I wasn't to the point where I couldn't think.
right.
And now that I got a knife in my AO, it's kind of hard for me to even think about being drunk. So I sobered up real quick, and now I'm thinking like, okay, what's really going on? So time go by, and I put my hands out like this, and I'm like, put the knife down so we can talk. And then I walk towards her, and as I was walking towards her, that's when she stabbed me in the thigh. She stabbed me in the inner thigh. So now I'm like, she's serious. This is not a joke. This is
No,
not a game.
this is hold up, hold up. Ooh, what? Okay, right. She lunged at you with a knife
Yes.
for not having pleased her because you was tired.
Yes.
Mm.
And the alcohol really played a big part in it. To me, that's what I think it was. It played a real big part in it because she doesn't act like this any other time. And that's what kind of threw me off. because any other time when she know I'm tired, because I done had staff duty before, and she's never ever reacted like this. So the alcohol played a real big part in this situation. And
Did you try to take the knife? Did you try to take the knife from her, or
not at all. Like I say, when I put my hands out to try to talk to her, like, hey, let's sit down, let's talk about it, put the knife down. When I did this and I took one step towards her, not aggressive, not like trying to run at her or anything like that. I just took one step forward. And when I took that step forward, all of my right leg was exposed, and she hit me in the inner thigh. And when she hit me in the inner thigh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but it still was a little blood. So I wrapped it up. That's when my military instinct kicked in, and I had to wrap my leg up real quick. And I got out of the room that time. So when I got out of the room that time, I'm thinking of a master plan. Like, how can I get out? Now I got to get out. I mean, I know that she's not gonna stop until she either A, gets what she wants, or B, I'm dead. So my son is in a
what would you think that? Why would you think that she would want to kill you? You said earlier that she's not someone that you thought would be rational. She never exhibited that type of things before. Why do you think that she would want to kill you now?
because now this knife is in my leg and now I'm bleeding. So I don't know what she's gonna do now. So now my mind is just like, I'm confused at this point. Like, what am I gonna do now? Like, is she gonna calm down? Are we gonna be able to talk? It was just a whole bunch of triggering factors that was in my mind now, because now I'm like, I don't know what she want. I don't know if she gonna put the knife down. I don't know what she gonna do. I just don't know. So I just didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one of the things that bothered me, because I know I can't go back in here and try to go to sleep. I know that I can't try to talk to her, because now she's at a point where ain't no talking. Even though I did say that didn't have any triggers, she was one of the types that once she got upset, she didn't want to talk. So
Ah,
it wasn't a trigger to me, because I mean, most females are like that. Like, I just don't want to be bothered right now. Talk to me later, or I'll come to you when I'm ready to talk. And that's usually how she is.
could you
But
could you, could you talk like okay, there are situations that you could talk to someone and let them get rational, like you could say something, and they would snap into some kind of rational behavior. Was it any way that you could have say or talk or articulate anything that would get her head back normal? Like, you going crazy, you have a knife, you stab me, hey, we love each other, you my wife, we have kids, your child is in the other room.
I think I said something along those lines, like, man, we got a whole kid next door. Like, we need to calm down and talk about this. I think I did say something, but it's been so long. All I remember is the facts. You know what I mean? I can't really remember everything that led up, after the first time I was stabbed. So, like, it was just one of those. I don't care what happens at this point. I don't care what happened at this point. I just need to get out. And that's what my mind was, making a game plan to get out of the house. So, like I say, my son was in the other room sleep, thinking about him, like, I need to get him out of here too. So
Could you have overpowered her? Because you probably stronger than her. Could you have
I could have tried, but that wasn't on my mind. Like, at first, when she had the knife, yes, I'm like, well, maybe I can try to get it out of her hand, but I'm like, I'm not gonna try it, because I don't know. I just never been the type to advance myself that way towards, because I ain't never been in that situation to where it's a weapon within arm's reach and I'm the one that's the victim in this situation. So I really didn't know what to do. Like, I just was confused. Like, I can't believe it. First of all, I can't believe this is happening to me, because
yeah,
I'm paying all the bills. I go to work, I come home, I take care of you, I take care of my son. So why is there any even, what is it that's really pushing you to this point to where now you got a knife at me, to somebody that you said that you're gonna love forever, and now it's like we can't even talk because you're not listening to nothing I'm saying. You just in your it's just like she blacked out. And like I say, the alcohol had to play a big part in that, because she ain't never acted like this before. So, that's just one of the things where now I'm learning more about this person, because she got a whole side that I didn't know nothing about.
yeah.
And it's a shocker, because it's like, oh, I didn't even know she was like that. You know what I mean? So
when you
You
brought up
know,
the topic and say, babe, our child is in there. Like during that process, I'm sure you're thinking, well, if she stab you, then you die, she go to jail. What happened to the child?
that's that. And like we talked about earlier, when you said you had a whole lot of things going on, I had a whole lot of things going on, and that's probably why I didn't react to overpower her. Because, like I told you, if I lay hands, she lay hands, but I go to the hospital, she's gonna be, I ended up going to the hospital, so she was the one whose story they heard first. Once they heard her story, they was gonna take her story and they was gonna try to pin every charge on me possible.
So
People,
you already know the double standard. You already know the double standard.
I'm already knowing how this is gonna play out. I'm already knowing. Like, I'm already in the back of my mind. I'm already thinking. Well, first of all, if the police get called, they automatically gonna assume it's me. Second of all, they automatically gonna assume that I was the aggressor. So everything is gonna be pointed towards me. And that still ended up happening anyway, even though I was laid up almost dead. You know what I mean? So it was just like, even though I had no parts in what was going on, I didn't trigger nobody, I didn't do nothing wrong, I was still classified as the aggressor because of my gender.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I'm trying to stand up against too. I'm trying to advocate about that. It doesn't matter the race, it doesn't matter the gender. It happens to anybody. It's
Yeah.
just that one bad situation where somebody doesn't think rationally. They just black out. And in that situation, I think she just blacked out and she was not thinking until she stabbed me the second time. That's
Oh,
when,
there was a second time. All right.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold
So I didn't only get stabbed once, I got stabbed
Yeah,
twice.
you got stabbed
So
twice.
me getting
Hold on.
stabbed in the
I want to talk about the second time because
uh-huh.
I think someone who stabbed somebody one time, somebody is not a stranger, not somebody that broke into your house. It's someone that you say that you love. You stab them one time, that and you see blood. That's supposed to wake your ass up. That's supposed to make somebody feel like, okay, okay, oh my god, oh my god. Normally,
Yes, normally in the situation, normally a person would come to their senses like, "Oh, what did I just do?" Not in this case. Not in this situation at all. So, um, like I say, me in the midst of planning my escape on how to get out. Um, I changed clothes downstairs and I went back upstairs. I had to go back upstairs because my keys and my cell phone was in the room. So I went back upstairs and I was able to get my keys, but she was standing in the corner where our phones would be on the charger at. And when I was like, "Hey, where my phone at?" She turned around. She had my phone wrapped around her hand on the charger, hanging from the charger. So I'm like, now it's really finna get, now I'm thinking like, she got my phone. Now I ain't got no way out. But I'm asking her like, "Hey, can you call the ambulance? Like, my leg is hurting like real, real bad. Can you call the ambulance?" She's at the point, she said she's not calling nobody. So then she proceeds to the door. She
did
closed
she
the
sober
door.
up? Did she sober up?
No,
At that time, she still wasn't really
she
sobered up.
still wasn't. She still was out of her element. So when I walked back in the room, we talked for a minute, and then I tried to leave again. She closed the door and she locked it. So now I'm hopping on one leg. I really only have one good leg. So I'm like, are you really, are you really trying to go through with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this really what you want to do? So we were talking, and then she asked the question, "What's the code to your phone?" And before I could get anything out, because I was gonna ask her why, and I put my hands up like this, so all this was open, and I didn't have a shirt on. So when I said why, she stabbed me right here.
Oh no.
Yeah. So once that happened, I didn't bleed off the impact. I wasn't bleeding off the impact, so I thought that she may have paused herself before but she hit me hard. Like, I'm talking like hard, and like 5 or 7 seconds go by, and then I look down again, and it's just blood running down, like it's just everywhere. So I'm like, now I'm finna die. Like, now it's, I'm just like, what I'm saying, like, I'm just covered in it, and I'm like, what did you do? Like, I'm still confused. Like, I'm not screaming, I'm not crying. Like, and that's the crazy thing about it. Like, my adrenaline was pumping so bad that I didn't feel no pain. I didn't feel nothing. Like I didn't even feel the knife go through me, and it was a 7-inch blade. Like it was very, very long. It was long. It was a long blade, and half of that blade went inside me, cut the back of my stomach open, and I didn't even know it. And she pulled it out too. So it wasn't like one of those boom is in you. She boom and pulled it out, and
That wasn't no alcohol, man.
I don't know what it was.
That wasn't no alcohol, man. I mean, that don't seem like alcohol, man. Yeah, at some point in time, I mean, people blame stuff on the alcohol. You had to be you had to be high on something else to have to stab somebody one time and not even come to the realization that you stabbed somebody, not even sober up, and stab them the second time. That wasn't alcohol, man. There's more. There's a deeper problem with this lady. There is a deep. That's what I was trying to understand from the beginning. That's what I was trying to
Yeah,
understand from the beginning. What is she crazy?
if she had any underlying facts that she hid from me, I didn't know nothing about her. And that's me being honest about the whole entire situation. If she had problems within herself that she knew that she needed help with, we could have got her the help. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the service, so they offer services for people. If you don't feel like you're there all the way, we can talk. We can go talk to people. We even did counseling for a while just to do it. You know what I mean? Like we did counseling just because I felt that it was good for me because I had just got back from overseas. I just got back from a tour. So it's a lot that, they even had a program. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called. But we enrolled in that program because it was a class about readjusting yourself to readjusting yourself back to your family coming off an overseas assignment. So, we went to the classes, we did that, and like I say, everything was everything. It wasn't like we argue all the time and I'm getting, it wasn't like that. So, like I say, it just threw me through a whole loop when all of this happened at one time. So, um, once I got out of the house, then she sobered up. She sobered up after that. So, once that happened, then she came to her senses, and it was like, oh my God, what did I just do? And I'm like, can you please call the ambulance? Can you please call the ambulance? She didn't call the ambulance. She called her mom. And I'm
Why she
like,
call her mom?
I have no idea. By that time, I'm already out of the house. And then she took my phone downstairs and she broke it. She broke it into pieces. So I couldn't call nobody, couldn't get no help. So once I got out of the house, I went to the neighbor's house. I went to two houses before I got an answer from anybody because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, man. It's early in the morning now. So one of the neighbors that work at the hospital, she answered the door. She let me in. She wrapped me up and waited for the ambulance to get there. Once the medics got there, you know, he was asking questions like what happened, and me being the person that I am, I didn't want her to get in trouble. So I was trying to cover up the situation. Like,
You
I
lied
slipped.
to her.
Yeah, I slipped and fell in the kitchen. Being, I was drunk. So I slipped and fell in the kitchen. I slipped and fell in the kitchen. But they weren't buying it. They was like, this cut is way too deep. We're not buying this. So once they found out that I got stabbed, they had to call the police. And once they called the police came. He asked me what happened. I was like, me and my wife. He said, you ain't got to say nothing else. So they went off. They put me on the back of the ambulance. And from there, I was in the hospital for about a month. And
What?
I was I was put in a medically induced coma because they had to do surgery on me. Like I say, when she stabbed me, she cut the back of my stomach open and she tore a couple other veins on the inside, so they had to cut me open. And I lost a lot of blood as well. So I lost a whole lot of blood. I had to do some blood transfusions. I think they said I had to have like 4 or 5 because I lost so much blood. They had to cut me open. They had to take everything out that they could, around that area, and the doctor had to repair it basically. So once I got done, like I say, I was there on the 17th. When I woke up, it was a Monday. So I had slept for 3 days straight. So I was asleep for 3 whole days. Like I was in and out, in and out, in and out. And then my parents finally got there. And when my parents got there and I heard my dad's voice, that triggered everything. Like everything woke up in me like my dad's here. So he tried to talk to me to ask me what they wanted me to do while, I was in the hospital. And I'm just like, I really don't know because I don't know what my son is, and I can barely talk. I got a breathing tube down my throat. I got a feeding tube down my throat. I got so much stuff hooked up to me, it's ridiculous. So they were trying to make out what I was saying, and I just ended up having to write it down. So, um, moving forward to me trying to get my son back, they came to the hospital. They were like, "You can't get him back because you're the aggressor of the situation."
So we are part of the show right now. I want to spend some time on.
Hmm.
You never touched the woman.
No.
She came to you, lounge at you, stab you 2 times. But
Yeah.
just the simple mere fact that you were male, you were deemed the aggressor.
Yes, and she was able to tell her story before I was. So the police are going to do what the police do. We only got one side of the story. So this is the side that we're going to have to go off of. And it was a week before I could even say anything. So they had been to court. They had did everything. They had already sent her. They had already gave her charges and everything like that. And here I am. I can't say nothing. I can't talk. I can't walk. I can't do anything. So I know they told me that I was gonna have to wait at least a week to try to start walking and moving around. But like after 4 days, I was like, I gotta get up. Like I was like, I cannot let this happen to where I'm deemed as somebody who's a monster because I'm here. That's not me. So once I finally was able to talk to the investigator, and the investigator knew that it was more to the story than what was told because she was like the way that the house looked, it looked like a murder scene on the inside of the
What
house.
what did what did she tell them? What was her story?
She told them that it was an act of self defense. I was drunk, and um, she said that I was drunk, and we got into it, and she feared for her life. I put her in a position to make her fear for her life. So if they hear that, all a female really has to say is she feared for her life, and whatever she want is basically golden. It's gonna get given to her. So I fought it. I really, really fought it. The investigator, she came to me from Fort Jackson. She was like, I know it's more to this story. All we need to do is hear your side. So when I finally broke everything down, she was like, yeah, we can get her for attempted murder. So I was like, I mean, the judge gonna do what the judge want to do, but I still thought I'm still thinking rationally about the situation. We got a son together. Yeah, I can get you locked up for 20 plus years. That's easy. But taking you away from a child you never hurt before, even though this situation was serious, she's never did anything to our child. So I had came to the realization that me and you will never work out again. We'll never be together. But for our child, you still need to be there. And if I take you away for 20 plus years, he'll be a grown man when you get out of jail. He won't even remember who you are. So um we ended up going to court. She got sentenced, and they knocked it down a whole lot. They knocked it down to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon to do serious bodily injury. So she got that, and she ended up serving like a year and some change. So she's out now, and she's living a whole better life. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we haven't spoken to each other because, like I say, my son is with her, and I've came to a point where I forgave her for the situation because I can't hold a grudge my whole life. She was the first. She was the first person that I made a child with, and she was the first person that ever really stuck beside me through my hard time. So I think I think being a bigger person in the situation is what really made me who I am now because I still give the benefit of the doubt even though I don't have to. You know what I mean? Whenever I finally filed for a divorce, they basically asked me what I wanted. And when I told them what I wanted, I got what I wanted. I wanted full custody. You know, she gonna have to call me. She gonna have to have supervised visits and everything like that. And when we had the final hearing for, you know, the custody battle, the judge said to me, and she looked me dead in my face, and I'm not lying about this at all. She looked me dead in my face and said, "She's a crazy woman. I'm not gonna sign off giving her any type of visitations in this courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
So take what I say, take it serious, and good luck to you." And you know that was it. But once she got out of jail, she changed her whole life. You know, she works. She had, you know, got a car, and she got on her feet. You know, and she was just, you know, we had talked, and she was telling me like, you know, I want to spend time with with our son. You know, so me being me,
Uh-huh.
I had to tell her like it's gonna come with it's gonna come with a whole lot of stipulations. I don't want them around nobody random. I don't want them in and out of everybody's house. If you gonna spend time with him, you need to spend time with him because you missed a crucial part of his life when he turned 3. He's almost 4 now. So, you know, we talked about that, and you know, we built a better relationship since then.
Yeah, but
And
well, hold up. Weren't you afraid that she would snap at the child as she did snap at you? How do you know that she's better in her head to allow her to have custody of that child?
that's the thing. She doesn't have custody. It
But
just
not
wanted,
custody, she just
yeah.
wants.
See, it's just one of those things where he goes to my grandma's house for a certain amount of days, and he goes there on the weekend. So he's in school. So he goes to my grandma's during the week. Saturday, Sunday, he's with them. So, you know, that's the plan that we've made up. So she only gets him on the weekend, but he's been spending a little bit more time over there now because of due to this COVID thing, the schools have really just been virtual. So, you know, that's one thing that we're working on. We're just trying to figure out what's the best plan for him because um he's he's to a point now where he misses me. So
Right,
he's been acting, you know, he's been acting out in school and stuff like that to a point where we're trying to figure out is he okay? You know what I mean?
right,
Because when we first separated, DSS came to me and they told me that he had separation anxiety, bad, like super bad. So um whenever I would take him to daycare and drop him off, he would lose his mind. Like, "Daddy, I don't want to stay here." He'll cry, kick, and scream. So we have that relationship to where he knows who Daddy is, and he knows that Daddy is really the only person that can protect me from anything.
right. I understand.
So
But what I'm trying to figure out, and someone asked the question there, when he goes to her, it's not supervised, it's
yes,
unsupervised
yeah,
visitation.
it is. She's with her mom. He goes to his grandma picks him up. They spend time with him together, do what they do on Saturday and Sunday, and then they bring him home Sunday. So it's always supervised. She doesn't just have him to have him. No, grandma picks him up. She stays with her mom, so everybody's always there. The kids are always there, and once their visitation is over with, they bring them back. You know, and if they have any problems, they call me. If I have any problems, I'll call them. So you know, we've made a plan where everybody's in the pot together. My grandma, her mom, her, me, we all talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just we got them and we don't hear from y'all until we drop them
Right,
back off. It's one
right,
of those we calling every hour. We checking on them. Hey, has he ate? Has he did this? Has he did that? We all got that open line of communication. She says sometimes that is aggravating, but I have to tell her like I have to follow what this court order says. So I have to make sure that I'm doing my part because if things go south and anything goes bad and y'all by yourself, now I look bad because I'm not abiding by this order.
right,
So it's supervised. It's just her mom, and her mom works for the state as well. Her mom works with juvenile kids as well. So she is in a position to where she knows what right is, and she supports what we have. You know.
right. Okay, so have you guys ever sat back and spoke about the incident as it happened?
Yeah, we've had plenty of conversations about it. You
What
know,
she
it's
what she said?
so. she's just been for she just been apologetic. You know what I'm saying? She's just like, I don't know what happened. And that to this day, that's what she tells me. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was thinking. And, I've tried to move past it. I have moved past it. And like I say, I forgave her. But it's just one of those things like, man, I could have died. Like, like I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? If it had not been for me having that little bit of alcohol in my system. You know what I'm saying? Like the doctor even said it. Your heart rate was a lot slower than what it was supposed to be already. So a lot of blood wasn't pumping through your system. And if it had been, you would have lost a lot of more blood and you probably wouldn't have made it. And, looking back at it, yeah, I mean, he was telling the truth because, you know, seeing as carpets was bloody, walls was bloody, curtains was bloody, there's blood everywhere. And, it was just a lot going on within that house that, you know, when I came back, I just knew I couldn't be there no more. And that's where the haunting came, the cold sweats, can't sleep at night, waking up like breathing heavy, like all of that came and that happened like every day. It would not stop. It was just a non-stop situation. I was having dreams. I was doing this. It was just a whole lot of moving pieces that made me feel uncomfortable being in that house. And even though my parents came and redecorated, that thought was still there every time I opened up the front door.
It affected you and it continued to affect you.
Yeah.
What about getting into another relationship?
So the relationship I'm in now, um, it came about, actually it came about, right after I filed for my divorce. We were good friends and she understood, right now I can't really pursue a relationship. So she was just a good friend. I could always call her. She could call me. We talked back and forth
But how could you
hours.
build that trust? How could you build that trust again? Because when you
It
look at,
took a lot. It took a lot for me
yeah,
to, and that's why I said that, it started off super duper slow. Like, it was like 4 months before I even said, okay, I can come meet you. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things like we got to meet somewhere public. We can't just, but the way we talk to each other and the way that we communicated, the vibe was a whole lot different than what I was exposed to before. And she didn't show no signs of being crazy. She didn't show no signs. But even though I had that in the back of my mind, I didn't want to have that same thought process because I didn't want it to affect me in the future. Because I'm a good guy. I know I am. You know what I'm saying? I can cook, I can clean, I know how to cut grass, I know how to work on cars, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. So I know what I'm bringing to the table. And when me and her started talking, she was bringing that same energy. She was bringing that same exact energy. She had her own business. She, had her own house. She had her own car. So it was a lot that we could talk about and politic about that I really couldn't politic with my prior relationship about. So once I finally made the decision that I was going to get a divorce, she put me in the right direction of the people to talk to, got me lined up. We got the divorce squared away, and I had to wait a year because South Carolina, you got to wait a year to get a divorce and stuff like that. So I was on reserve the whole entire time. Like I just, was building myself back up. And that's why me and her were really just good friends because I told her like I'm in a point in my life where I need to cope with myself and try to build up myself to be back to who I was because
but it affected you psychologically. It
it
affected
did.
you psychologically.
It did. I didn't trust nothing. I didn't trust my friends. I didn't trust my family. I didn't trust nobody. I After I got out of the hospital, my focus was me and my son. I don't care about nobody else. And my dad even told me, he was like, son, you can't have that mindset. And my dad was really another motivation to me to help me build myself back up because he was like, son, this just means she wasn't for you. Even though it happened the way it did, you got to try to build yourself back up to be who you is because you still got a mission to take care of. You still got a son to take care of. And you still a soldier at the end of the day. So it was a lot in me that made me say, okay, I'm gonna take a break to get to know myself more. And throughout the whole entire divorce process, I was going out more. I was doing stuff with my friends more. You know what I'm saying? I was building relationships with people that I could trust, that I knew before I got stabbed. So, a lot of my close friends, we still talk to this day. And, that's how I knew I had real friends, because they were calling every day. They were checking on me every day. They were making sure I got out of the house. They were making sure I was eating. They was making sure that, my son was straight. I had an open line of communication with a whole lot of people. And that's what really built the courage back up into me to even pursue somebody else. Not only friends, but, relationship wise. And like I say, me and her, we could talk about a lot. So it was a lot that we got out. She was open with me. I was open with her. And, it just made things a lot easier for me to open up about, because she understood where I was coming from. She had went through a similar situation, and we were able to vibe off that and know that we weren't against each other at all.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why we hit it off so strong, because she knew what I wanted, I knew what she wanted, I
Right.
had what she wanted, she had what I wanted, but we still took the time to build that friendship. We
And
still
that's
took that
important.
time.
That's important. That's very important.
We took that time to build that friendship. We took that time to get to know one another and actually laugh and have a good time with one another before we just called ourselves going with each other. So, that went on, and then, um that was like mid 2018 ish, once the divorce was final. So, um moving forward, right after the divorce was final, me and her, we actually mended with each other, and we actually hit it off pretty well. We actually had fun with each other. We actually laughed with each other. She put me in a whole different mindset when I finally met her. And she just took everything that I had going on, she took it away, and I wasn't thinking about nothing. It was just all about her.
Right.
And that's one reason I was able to move on so fast, because she was offering me everything that I was missing. You know what I mean? She actually opened up that door to, you mean something to somebody, if that makes sense. You mean something to me. And she made me feel that within inside of me. You
Yeah.
mean something to me.
Yeah.
And
I totally understand that she brought something different to the table.
yeah.
But yeah, I want to give folks the opportunity that's watching, because I'm reading the comment as you speak here, and so many people feel and understand the pain that you went through. I want to give them an opportunity to talk to you live if they want to do so. The number that you guys could call is 718-701-5720. The number is on the screen, right there. Just say, just call if you could relate. If you could relate to Eric's story, I want you guys to call in live right now at this number, 718-701-5720. Because far too often we don't hear those stories. And every time we hear something happen or there is a domestic violence call, it's always assuming that the men are the aggressors. The men get locked up, right? As they say in the United States here, is woman, dog, cat, puppy, fly, all these different insects in the world. And at the bottom of the chain is man. We are the bottom. And that's how we feel, honestly. So in most situations, when something happened, we are arrested, our whole life change, the life of the children change, because now you have a child that is growing up with one parent. You don't have the benefit of having both parents, because of a stupid situation that you didn't take time to think. You split up an entire family, you damage a child's life because you didn't take a time to think. Oftentimes we hear the story and we always think that is the man that's aggressing. Here we have a totally different perspective and people understand it a little bit differently. I want you guys to call if you could relate to the story, 718-701-5720. It's very, very important. Very, very important that some of the female as well. I want you guys to call in and talk to us, That's the number on the screen. Call in right now. Let me see if the line is up. Yeah, the line is open. So if you call, it will come through. Eric, I don't know. You exemplify, I think, what a lot of people think men don't have. They say men don't have the ability to do those things, to take control of a situation. And you show that during the process of what was happening to you, although you was probably physically stronger, you didn't you thought you used your brain. Because if you didn't use your brain, it would have been a totally different situation right here. So you think, and oftentimes a lot of men need to think, but a lot of women need to think as well, because now the situation is what it is, and it didn't have to be like that. It really did not have to be like that. The child is now separated from the mother. The child is with the father. They're not together. As I think the benefit of that relationship was important for the child. Mouthful said there, but I could relate to your story. And the reason why I could relate to your story as well, I've been through not a similar occurrence, but I've been through something where, in a situation where I'm very reluctant, I wouldn't put my hands on a female. And a lot of times female understand that. And they they antagonize that because they know you're not gonna put their hands on them.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you push to the limit and you would try to get out of the scenario and they would push you to the limit. And oftentimes, guys, we are not the aggressors. Sometimes men are. And I'll talk about men who do that. I don't think a man should lift a hand and hit a woman. But sometimes, man, we know we go through the process of being antagonized and being maligned and being pushed to the limit. It takes a strong person to pull back from the situation here. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Um, Greg, Bobby's asked a question earlier. I want to throw at you as well. He
Mhm.
said, "What about all this military training that you have? How did that all that training didn't kick in at some point in time to defend yourself in any kind of way?"
Like I say, you got to think rationally about the situation. If I would have did anything that she would have had a bruise, cut, scratch, black eye, broke rib, anything, I was gonna go to jail first because, like I say, I went to the hospital. So once they would have heard her story, she would have switched the story, and now we got to go back and forth over who actually laid hands first.
Right.
So me, with the military training, you're right. Somebody just said it saved me. It did. My medic, my combat medic came in, and I was able to wrap myself up. I was able to protect myself. I was able to, mend myself enough to get out of the door. That's all the military training you really need, because if I would have reacted like I wanted to, we would have tore the whole house up, and I would have came back to nothing. So military training really doesn't play a part in this situation because it's not an enemy.
True.
She's not my enemy. You know what I mean? And even before, I've never been in combat, but I know some people that have. And even before they engage in an enemy, they warn an enemy. Don't come any closer. Don't say, unless it's an all-out firefight. So even before we even engage in anything, unless we already know to go in hot, we always go into a situation knowing we have to ask that question first. We have to tell them, don't move, don't, stay where you are, don't come any closer, because of, what they're capable of doing. But at the same time, this is somebody I love. Once I put my hands on you the way I was taught, you're no longer a person I love, because now you're going to the hospital and I am too. Two people in the hospital can't raise a kid. Even though I lost them and she lost them, it doesn't matter. Military doesn't always play that big part. It really is just a facade to most. Like, the military wasn't even on my mind when that happened. So me reacting in a way to try to show my strength, it wasn't worth it, because I'm already to a point now where I'm already thinking strong. I'm already trying to get out of the door. I'm trying to nix the situation so I won't get hurt any worse. because she already had the upper hand. I'm stabbed in the leg. I can't move. The room ain't nothing but so big. The room probably about the same size as this kitchen, and this kitchen really not that big. So anybody would say they wouldn't know how they would want to react in that situation. Anybody.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Police officer, firefighter, cook. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna know how to react in a situation like that.
You never plan for a situation like that. Mo is
You
asking
never.
a question. Mo is asking a question. He say you're curious to know what was the deciding factor of you sharing the story. Say many men decide of color decide not to come out and talk about it. They're afraid because the men being a victim, they're afraid to come out forward with the story.
You
What was your deciding factor of sharing your stories?
you answered your own question, Mo. Right there where it say victims are afraid. I'm not afraid. I wasn't afraid. You know what I mean? That that's another facade. That's another thing that they put on. That's another stereotype that they put on us. Oh, if you tell on me, you soft, you weak. No, that's not it. Because my thing is, I'm somebody's son. I'm somebody's uncle. I'm somebody's cousin. I'm somebody's brother. I'm somebody's father. So we already have, what you saying, men of color. We already have two strikes against us: our skin color and our masculinity over everything that we do. So we've already lost that battle. The police, they shooting us every day with no remorse. They don't care about us. So me trying to step up for our culture, it's what I'm gonna do. If don't nobody else want to do it, I mean, not just our culture, for anybody that's going through it. Like I say in all my interviews, don't go through it alone. And if you got friends that you know that's going through it, get them help, because you don't want to look at them on no obituary, and I know you don't want to look at them through no jail cell. So if it's just, it was courage for me. It was actually just courage for me that made me actually step up and say, this is what I'm gonna do. So that, and me not being afraid to actually say what happened, because I knew I wasn't in the wrong.
Yeah. And you said it there right, because in that situation right there, there are two options. One, you end up in prison. Two, you end up dead. And I always say sometimes in these situations, if you just take a split second, and I tell this all the time to somebody very close to me that I know, I said, just stop for a second and think, right? When you in this moment in time, stop for a second and think. Whatever wakes you up, I don't know if you have to, I don't know what it is that you have to, I don't know, because I don't get there. When I get very upset, I just get very calm. I'm calmest when I'm very upset. And I often tell a very close friend of mine that when you are in that moment, you tend to lash out, you tend to pull, you tend to jab, you lose your mind, you use all sorts of profanities. And at the end of the day, after you snap out of it, you realize, oh damn, what did I just say? What did I just do? 2 weeks after that, you forget what you was mad about in the first place.
Yep, and yep, that's totally right. You forget what you was arguing about anyway. So it's a lot of different things, and I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this right here,
Which,
and the Sonia
yes,
Sania, she said maybe that's a way out of this relationship. And when you said that, that just sparked something. So before this situation happened, um, I prayed and I said, God, if you don't want me in this relationship, give me a way out. And this was 2 weeks before the incident happened. We had fell on hard times, money was tight, and it just felt like she was giving up on me. So it was like one of those, we fell out, but it wasn't like a big fallout. It was just money situation. Money was tight, you know what I'm saying? And she needed things, I needed things, and we were feuding about it, and she ended up leaving. She ended up going home for a few days. She was like, I just need to go home for a few days. She went to her parents' house, and she came back. And, when she came back, everything was okay up until that night. So, it's weird. It's really weird how God works and how things happen, you know. And it was a wake up call for me because it happened so fast. You know, it happened real fast.
Someone said
So
earlier about rejection. Did she feel? Could she have felt rejected by you? I'm thinking like she wanted to
you
be more.
you really you really can't feel rejected if we together. You can't be rejected. There's no rejection there. How can I reject you and I married you? You know what I mean? Like
Right. But I mean, for
I
the moment, some women feel.
for that moment, yes, I understand. You know, you felt like I didn't want to be intimate with you, and you just felt like, oh, it was something else. But it was. I don't think it was nothing like that. It may have been, but she never did express that to me. She never did say rejection was the reason why that happened. She always says she does not know, and you know that's just been a deciding factor. Like she don't know why she did it. That's why I say the alcohol played the big part. But you know, it's just a whole lot of other stuff that I think about, and you know, I try not to go too far in because I'm trying to push that to the back of my mind because I got so much going for myself now, and I don't know, I'm one of those easygoing people. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
one of those. I give people the benefit of the doubt. Like Junior, you can cuss me out right now and say, Eric, you the worst person I've ever met in my life. And you can call me tomorrow and I'll be like, brother, I forgive you. And we'll just go on with our day. That's just the type of person I am because if it was meant for you to say that, it's meant for you to say that. If it's meant for you to do it, it's gonna happen. I'm a go with the flow type of guy. If it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
Gonna
So
happen.
if me getting stabbed was in what was supposed to help me build myself up, that's what it is. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm living proof that, you know, you don't have to be scared after something like that happened to you. You know, I did a speech last year and that was my first speech ever on Fort Jackson. Here in Columbia, South Carolina, I did my first domestic violence speech. It was more men in there than it was women.
Wow.
It was more men in there than it was women. After I got done, at least 6 guys came up to me and said they've been in similar situations and they decided that they wanted to talk about what they had been through. And these are people that outrank me. They're older than me.
Hmm.
And you know, that's another reason why a lot of people are thrown off because I'm so young. Happens at any age. It don't see no age, it don't see no color, it don't see no gender. It just happens. So, you know, it's just one of those things where if somebody needs to make that change, I want to make that change and I want to start making that change and I have. And I've been doing pretty good with it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like my fourth or fifth interview this month. You know what I mean? So it's just like everybody's reaching out. You know, matter of fact, I go see Jacob down at the radio station in Saluda
Hmm.
this weekend. I go see him on the 22nd. He want me to come down there on the 22nd. So it's just like everybody's been calling, like, man, we need you, we need you, we need you.
Yeah.
So any way that I can help advocate, I'm going to help advocate.
That's
Any
good.
way that I can help people, I'm going to help people, my people, because
Right.
I know that somebody will do the same for me,
Yeah.
and I just feel like I can change the world for better if I just stay focused and I stick to my plans and I stick to what I want to do. And that's my goal. My goal is to reach the young people. My goal is to reach old people
Yes.
because it's happening everywhere. You know, college students. South Carolina is a big college state. You know, they got USC, they got Benedict, they got Allen. They got a whole bunch of colleges in this area where I know being here so long, the younger folks are gonna be in a relationship. I'm almost 27, so I can't say I am a little older than, you know, the average 19 or 20-year old that's getting into a relationship with somebody and claim that they love somebody and one bad night they end up with a black eye. I
Yeah.
want to be that advocate because like I told somebody I was that interviewed me a couple weeks ago, you know, older people can really vibe with the older people. You try to go talk if an older person tries to go talk to some young kids nowadays, it probably won't go the way that they wanted to.
True.
But a young person like me, I come into a place, thousands of people. This is what I'm here to talk to y'all about. They'll cling to me
100%.
more because they'll know where I'm coming from as a young person. And that's why I'm trying to advocate that for my community, for my people. for anybody that really needs it.
Yeah.
I didn't did a whole lot of other things than just, these conversations. I went and talked to a sociology class, people that, work with patients and stuff like that. I actually sit and I talked to a class for like an hour and a half on this situation, and they asked me questions. They talked to me, and we just had a real good time with what was going on
Yes.
and what happened to me. So, it was great, but like I say, I want to be that change for the people.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, you sharing that story with our audience here is a big leap, is a big step. And just as what started a conversation years ago when we had our first transgender person on the program, and that brought in a slew of people who wanted to share their story about how they had to make that change and why they made that change.
Hmm.
Hopefully, this conversation would start more men coming in and talking about their experience. We got a caller on the line. Let me see if I can take it really quickly. Caller, you live? Turn your background audio
Yes,
down.
I.
Turn down your background audio.
Okay. Sure. Junior, this is Ron.
Hey, Veron, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Um, I think I'm a bit delayed, but I just wanted to encourage Eric because you and I had some conversations regarding bringing abuse, especially when it came to our black men, to the forefront. And
Yes,
I just want to encourage him to keep doing what he's doing because there are a lot of men who feel emasculated and don't want to come forward and say what they've experienced for fear of either rejection or just just the way society would look at them going forward. So I applaud him for what he's doing and just keep doing it. And if he can reach out to more or even provide some advocacy groups that he might have been in touch with that can help some of these young men who are going through it in silence, it would really help a lot.
absolutely,
So I applaud
absolutely.
him.
Thank you, absolutely.
Okay?
Thank you, Veron.
Anytime.
All right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. That's important. Men who's going through this right now. What advice do you have for them?
This is my advice. If you are going through it, if you know somebody that's going through it, and you know that they're doing everything in their power as a man to, this goes for married people, this goes for single people. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you call yourself loving somebody, violence shouldn't mix into that. If you ever feel like you got to get to a point to where violence is in the mix, get away and get away fast, because that's one of the things that we as you know that's one thing that we fail to realize. Um, People die over this, but it's not broadcasted.
Yes,
People
true.
people go to jail over this, but it's not broadcasted. So my young people, old people, anybody that's listening, if you know somebody that's going through it, be an advocate. The advocacy can start with you. As long as you open up that door to where they can come and they can feel comfortable with talking to you, because some people will come to you and they'll tell you that they have a problem. Some people will laugh it off. Some people will be like, "Oh man, you joking? Get out of here with that," or they just
Yeah,
won't take it serious at all. And now you got a person that's going home getting their face smacked off every single day because they don't have nobody to talk to. I say this, and every time I get on anybody's, whenever I'm face to face with anybody or talking to anybody, my inbox is open to anybody who knows somebody that's going through it, who wants to talk about somebody that's going through it, or even if it's yourself. Because a lot of men, they go through it with themselves because we still got to live with that stereotype. Oh, you a man. Oh, be strong. You got to do this. You got to do that. No, we still have people that we're family, that are our family. We still have families. So it's like, just as well as your cousin, your auntie, your grandma, your sister, your brother will be mad if you say something to them.
I think we lost the video there. But we'll take the call. Caller, you live?
Good afternoon, Junior.
Hi.
I just wanted, everybody's talking about the young lady as a demon or a devil. I just wanted to remind people that mental health is real in our community
Yes.
and is often overlooked. This young lady obviously needs some help, not only for what she's done to Eric, but she's also raising a young black man that, well, she's not doing it by herself, but the child is still in touch with her.
Yes.
So we don't know what issues, and we don't want him to grow up with whatever anger or whatever. Hurts people.
True.
And so she has obviously been hurt, and she hasn't dealt with that hurt. So now she is displaying that hurt. And, I sympathize with him. But in order to bashing her, Eric, if you're still in touch with her, you say you are, she has to go to some form of counseling so that your son that's coming up that is going to be in contact with his mother or whoever or another man that she's going to date, she's going to be married to or whatever, does not reciprocate that, that type of violence in their life.
Yeah.
Mental health it is real and it's overlooked in our community. So
But
help her in that kind of way.
Let me ask you a question, right? As from a woman perspective, we see a lot of situations where men are placed in positions where they might get antagonized by their wives or girlfriend. By antagonize, I mean they are in a situation where they've been taunted, they might be poked in the face, they might be antagonized, and because the woman know, one, that husband or that boyfriend wouldn't hit them back, or that person might be a police officer or a politician or someone of stature that they could go and end the whole career, or that person might be so close to their child that they wouldn't do it, or that person has a social moral character that they would never hit a woman. What is a man to do when faced in a position being so antagonized that he's to the point and limit that he just can't take it no more? What should a man do?
In my opinion, Junior, they would have to scout, share that experience with someone.
No, I'm talking about the point. I'm talking about the point in time. That give me that a snapshot in time. This is happening right now.
They have to walk away. They have to walk away.
What's up? What happened when walking away is still being antagonized and followed and still bothered and pushed and tugged? What is a man to do?
Junior, you have to remove yourself from the situation. Much like Eric, I was in the military, and I could tell you the man is not always the antagonizer. From a military's perspective, because of your military background, you're gonna be seen as the aggressor. Because I've had a lot of situations where my ex-husband called the police on me or whatever.
Right.
But because of my military background, well, you have to leave the house, man, because he doesn't feel safe with you. Or you understand?
Right.
So I kind of share in his experience, but whatever, and he can attest to this. The military trains us always walk away.
Yes.
Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, remove yourself from that situation. Take a hike, whatever it is. They have cool down rooms for you. Find a hotel room.
Right.
Just so that one will end up in prison and the other in the grave. Remove yourself from that situation.
So the man should always be the analytical person in that situation right there.
No. Whoever is feel that they're being antagonized and they're in that situation, whoever is in the mindset, in the right mind,
whoever is in the right mind,
situation and said this doesn't make any sense.
So I'm saying the man always have to be in the analytic position. The man always
not
have
necessarily.
Okay. So
because, and I say that because there was instance where I have to walk away, but I have to leave my house because it was the other way around, and I was being seen as the aggressor. But I have to leave my house. I had to go sleep in a parking lot.
Were you the aggressor?
I was not, but I was military. So when the police come, it's automatically on me.
Okay, so Eric is back with us. Eric, is it often seen if you're in the military, you pose a more heightened threat to a person?
Me personally, I've never seen it. And that's just because any situation that I've heard or I've seen about, it's always been the other way around. It's always been no. Thinking about it, no. I haven't had any situation where I've heard about that.
Yeah.
That the police actually tend to pipe down when it's military people that they're dealing with. Like they don't really come with the same, urgency like
like, oh, we gotta take somebody to jail. Some of the officers that I have spoken to before, like that night, they didn't come off like, well, what did you do? They didn't give me those type of vibes. So I've never really had that situation, and even getting pulled over, I've never really had that. Once I tell them I'm military, we talk, and I've never had that problem. It's just that's me personally. Now, if it's been like that on her end,
Right.
I can't talk for everybody, but I know me personally, I've never ever. They actually come to us like, "Hey, are you guys okay?" Like,
Right.
it's just been situations like that because, I mean, yeah,
Part of my experience, caller, and I'm happy that we have a woman perspective. Sorry to put you in the hot seat for a bit here.
That's okay.
But part of my experience, I've had situations where I've been placed in the position where I almost was put in position to hit me, and you see what I'm gonna do. It's like she's pushing me to hit her. It's like she knows, she understands what's gonna happen to me if I hit her, right? And I would leave the room and I would go someplace. I'll go to the bathroom and I'll be followed into the bathroom, right? Antagonizing me into the bathroom. And it's just I feel oftentimes men, most times, have to be the analytic person in this situation here. Because we know, for one, we don't want to lose our kids. Two, you don't want to be seen as a woman beater. You're not that person. You are not that person, right? In my case, I have how much sisters? I grew up with my whole entire family. I have four sisters, 5 sisters. And I would never want somebody to hit any one of my sister. But I think that women has to also understand, whether you talking to your girlfriends or women talk to them and say, listen, this have to stop somewhere, man. Come on. And I know men do it too, but women does it. I know it firsthand. I have a personal recollection of it. It
And
happens.
so, Junior, I understand you and I hear you because you have that personal recollection. And I also have a personal recollection where I have to walk away. And Eric is correct. When the police come to you as a military person, they come calm, they come de-escalated because they know you are trained also to de-escalate situations. So they come and they're willing to listen. But when it comes to either violence or if they can't get a area where they can calm you down, the military person has to be the one to lift the home. The military person has to always be the one to walk away because the military provides housing for families. And Eric, I will also tell you, being a senior person in the military, there were several times where I had to remove people from the home because the other spouse said, well, they threatened me and I didn't feel comfortable. And the soldier would say, well, I didn't even do nothing. It wasn't even me. But I would have to say, man, I'm sorry, man, but you have to leave.
Yep. You're right. Now that one, you're right about. You are right about that one because have had friends that I've had that situation happen to where we are removed if they feel like they don't want us back in the house.
And sometimes police laugh at you. I had a friend that told me today that he went to report a situation where he's
Yes.
been abused, physically abused, and it's like a damn joke. It's like the police or society look at it as what? The woman beating you? What are the woman is beating you?
And
Is that the man is
that's
reluctant?
bad.
The man is reluctant to fight back, and he's not gonna do it.
And I understand, I admire you and I admire Eric, but the reason for my call was to say we just celebrated, not celebrated, but we just had a reminder of Mental Health Week just a few weeks ago. And we talk was how we overlook it in our Black community. We're too proud. We don't want to go for help. These people, have issues. Tell them about it because they don't want to be looked at as, crazy or whatever the case might be. So what he's described about his ex-wife, this lady obviously needs help because who would stab somebody more than once without, apparent cause or whatever the case might be? You understand?
Yeah.
And now she is in a child's life. And so versus calling those negative names and just looking at that point of view, I just want us to be aware that she needs help.
Yes.
Because this thing can carry on to a next generation, or she can hurt another brother that she's coming to a relationship with. And so I just encourage you. She needs just let her get some real professional help so she can try to identify the things that triggers her, and then it wouldn't get to another brother with blood, streaming down. That was
Absolutely.
the point.
Thank
I
you
was
so
trying
much,
to make.
Paula. Thank you so much. We appreciate
And
you.
thank you for the opportunity.
All right, no problem. Eric, I thank you for again sharing your story with us. Just we need to continue conversation like this, and we thank you for continuing to do that, sir. And hopefully, more men would speak out about it. And we're not advocating for men to lay hands on their wife, on their girlfriends. Men shouldn't hit woman shouldn't hit man. That's point blank simple. Don't lay your hands on somebody. If you are going through a situation, or if you are antagonizing your head, take a breather, go for a long walk or something, run in the park or something. You shouldn't put your hands on no one. Anyway, Eric, we're gonna close it off right here. Last words, and then we're gonna shut it up. We went over time a bit, but it's all good. Close it off, Eric. What you gotta say to wrap it up?
Before I got cut off, like I say, if it's anybody that is going through it, know somebody that's going through it, or wants to advocate for somebody, or just needs somebody to talk to, my Facebook page is my name. It's ErikVasser. My name again is Eric Vassar, and my computer, my phone just fell on me, but it's okay.
Yeah.
ErikVasser. That's my name on Facebook. You can find me. You can search me. Add me as a friend. And if anybody wants to talk after this is over with, feel free to reach out, and I'll be there for whoever needs somebody to talk to.
Right. And we're going to also share that information over to our viewers. Anyone who wants to reach out to Eric. We got a final call before we close it. Okay, I missed that call. Thank you, Eric, and we appreciate you again. We're going to keep in touch, and we're going to share your link with our viewers so they could reach out to you, because people are asking me, like, how do you get your strength? How do you build strength to go on? And the question that a lot of men want to talk to you about, and I'm going to put your information there so they could absolutely reach out to you on social media. We appreciate you, Eric, and we'll absolutely keep in touch as well.
All right, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, I have some final thoughts. I have some final thoughts on this, right? I have some final thoughts on this, but I want you guys to stay tuned to hear those final thoughts. We got to take a quick commercial break because I went straight into it because I didn't want to cut up the interview. I wanted everybody to hear the story, but I have some commitment that I have to play. We'll be right back for my final thought. Don't move. Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitor's visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
Yeah.
Guys, I got to tell you about this really quickly. The Waggy Virtual Bingo, now $20,000. Tickets available right now. You can get it on GoToFet. The next Waggy Megaforce promotion, Big Money Bingo, is going to be on Sunday, November 1st. Win up to $20,000. Again, guys, box office in Grenada, but you can play worldwide. It's $20,000, and that's $20,000 to be won. The Waggy T Virtual Bingo.
Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Everybody. Show me some strength.
Also, guys, I got to tell you about this really quickly. It's about our $1,000 shopping spree. The Ride Along $1,000 shopping spree. You still have an opportunity to nominate someone if you want to nominate someone to win a $1,000 shopping spree. Inbox Ride Along will give you more information how you could enter someone to win a $1,000 shopping spree in Grenada.
Everything after humble. Everything after humble.
Guys, if you have a business or an event you want to advertise on Ride Along, please feel free, inbox us. We'd love to we'd love to share with you some packages for advertising right here on Ride Along Live. Contact us, inbox or call 718-701-5720.
Nobody control me sick. I will.
Also, the hand sanitizer, 70% alcohol by volume, bottled by the Grenada Distillers Limited, Grenada. Get your hand sanitizer bottled and made in Grenada by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
Strength, no weakness. Show me a lion tongue. Everybody strength, no weakness. Show them who we are. That's when you're wrong.
Guys, listen. You see this thing about men not, or anyone for that matter, but I'll speak specifically for men because that's the story for today. Men not taken seriously when reporting instances of domestic abuse is a serious thing. There are a lot of men, a lot of friends of mine. After I even put up this story here, you wouldn't imagine how much of them that came up and shared with me that same similar story. That for not being able, not being able, but not wanting to spend a night in jail or someone end up dead, they refrain from doing anything or raising their hand to the woman. Not that they can't, but is that they won't. And sometimes, as I said earlier, the women that they're with understand that very well, and they push that to the limit. So my appeal is to some women, and I know people go say, well, men does it too, but today we're talking about men being abused. My appeal is to some of the women. If you love the person that you're with, stop back here. If you love the person that you're with, the person that you lay with to have a child, the person that you trust to be in bed with, try, I don't know what part of your brain or what thing you have to put in your pocket. So when you get to that point, remember that you love this person. Squeeze it to remind you, to bring your senses back. Don't antagonize. If you love this person, you don't want to see them in jail. You don't want to see them end up dead, right? I have so much stories about that, but I think I'll end there. Love the person that you're with, all right? Life is too short. Life is too short. Deanne Fraser, thank you so much for sharing that information with us about the Ride Along support group. Go over there and join that group. We provide a lot of assistance for both men and women. I know we're going to have conversations in the week as we close off the October and domestic violence month. We're going to have more conversation about it. But one of the topics I want to have before the close of this month is a conversation with a woman who has been through abuse and a man who have went through the similar abuse, and see how we could isolate and see if we could pinpoint out some of the things that we could look out for from a male perspective and from a woman perspective. And we could hopefully get a broader understanding as to what are some of the triggers. I think I get one more call. Let me see if I could take it. Caller, are you live? Are you you calling for the show? Hello, caller. Are you calling for the show?
Junior.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you're live. You're live on Ride Along.
Junior, my thing is that show you just had with Eric there.
Yeah.
I think that woman probably planned to kill that boy to get the insurance money, man.
Well, I don't want to
That's my
speculate.
thing,
I don't want to speculate or have any kind of conspiracy theory. He said he gave
Yeah,
his story, and I don't want to speculate as to insurance or why she did it and all those other things. But point well
that
taken,
is how
caller.
I feel, man. Because when she come to see senses, right? She call her mom, right? Before she call the police, right?
Uh-huh.
So, which means the plan didn't work. You know, he young, he naive, and he in the military. Now, come on, 300,000. He, you know.
Okay. That's one theory.
Yeah.
Hi, caller. Thank you so much.
You gotta be first.
Guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. We're already a little bit over time. Join me tomorrow, guys, for more of Ride Along Live. Don't forget, if you have a story to tell, if you have a story to share, we encourage you to share your story right here on the ride. And love up on the person that you with, man. Love up on the person that you with. Life too short. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye. Catch me tomorrow.
Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can turn me sick. I will let alone negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness, show me a lion come. Strength, no weakness, show them who we are. Strength, no weakness, show me a lion come. Everybody strength, no weakness, show them who we are. Not when you're old. Your enemies, they must tremble. Your enemies, they must tremble. Yo, not when you're old. Everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. I'm a go-getter. I just go high.
If the blessing no amount, block away like a social media account. Watch them, miserable soul. Watch them, all them there, all of them there, all them there. Them there. Always have something to say and something to add. Block the bad energy like a maxi pad. Here I stop, block all of them. Bad energy we don't like, block all of them. You can see them is low like, block all of them. Since when them is a highlight, block all of them. Block all of them. You're always negative. Give somebody on them like a deer and put them down with a sedative. You don't like what I say, I don't care. Already said what I said it is. If you want, I can flip it again. Block all of them and their relative. Block all of them. Hard energy we don't like. Block all of them. You can see them is low life. Block all of them. Since when them is a highlight. Block all of them. Block all of them. No, I know you want to retribute, but you must stand your ground resolute. Them don't have nothing to contribute. That's why the living is destitute. How them see you and want prosecute when them on kids is some prostitute playing with people life like a flute. All of them don't get picked like a fruit. Block all of them. Bad energy we don't like. Block all of them. You can see them is low life. Block all of them. Since when them is a highlight. Block all of them. Block all of them. No. This finger say block off. This finger say block away. Finger say block off. This finger say block away. This finger say block off. This finger say block away. This finger say block off. This finger say block away. Block off. Block away.